This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm RGT85.
And Wood, you can go away. This is not your video. Today is all about who?
Me.
RGT85.
Indeed.
And what segment is today, Will? I'm going to make you say it this week.
You're going to make me say it this time?
Yeah.
All right. It's Wow Cow Wednesday. There's a reason why I don't like saying it.
So this is part of our interview/conversation series labeled as the Conversations with the CHRILLCAST on our channel. And today we're going to be talking all about RGT, asking him some questions about his channel, asking him, all those questions you've been wondering over the years, or maybe you didn't wonder it at all. Like
all the ones that you've sent in.
Yeah. All of our viewers, me and Will. No.
Yeah.
What's his favorite sandwich? Those kinds of things. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why don't you jump in with that first question?
All right, so first question. What inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
So before I started RGT85, I was actually doing writing. I wrote for a small website. I started out in 2012, and then I only did that because I had a friend who worked for them, and he was getting free video games, and I was like, I want free video games, and he was like, can you write? And I was like, that's the only thing I was really good at in school, so I think so. So I ended up hooking up with the owner of the website. I sent him like a sample piece, and he was like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. So I joined that website, and then that website kind of went under. So I joined another website that was called Nintendo Enthusiast, and I became the editor-in-chief there, and they had a YouTube channel that had like 4,000 subs on it. And I was like, wow, do you have anyone who makes content on this channel? And they were like, no. I was like, I want to make videos on this channel. And they were like, well, do you know how to make videos? I was like, no. And they were like, well, how are you going to make videos? I was like, don't worry about it. I'll make it work. So I had a 480p webcam that I shot in 240p in because I don't know how webcams work. I had one single lamp, and I started doing videos on that channel, and they were absolutely atrocious. At the same time, this other jackass named Jason Lapine joined the channel, and because the website was based out of Canada, and he lives in Canada. And he also started doing videos on the channel. But this ass had a $3,000 camera. He was shooting at A&C Games in Toronto. So he had an awesome backdrop. And, I was so mad. I hated him. But then, of course, we ended up becoming good friends. And we do a podcast every Sunday. But, yeah, so I started doing videos on that. And, they were pretty crappy. But, I kind of got by on my personality. I tried to have fun with it. And then everyone had a side channel, and I wanted to do other stuff, because on that channel you could only really talk about Nintendo. Nobody gave a crap about retro stuff on there or anything like that. And everyone had a side channel. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make a side channel. So I made a side channel, and by the time I made the side channel, we had grown Nintendo Enthusiasts to 20,000 subs. I was like, perfect. This is great. I'll start my side channel. I'll make an announcement on the channel. Everyone will come and join me, and I'll have a huge user base. And I think maybe 200 to 300 people made the switch over there. And I was still making videos on Nintendo Enthusiasts. This was just my little side project. And I was like, oh, wow, this is... I'm actually going to have... If I want this to do something, I'm actually going to have to put some work into it. So that was why I honestly wanted to be able to talk about other stuff besides Nintendo stuff, which is kind of ironic when you look at the channel nowadays, but I can explain kind of why that is. But yeah, I just wanted to branch out and do other stuff, and so that's why I ended up coming up with that channel.
And that also goes in with that retro gaming tube story that you told in the other video, right?
Yeah, so it was originally the original premise of the channel was retro gaming news, because and which is funny because people are like, oh, you do a lot of news stuff nowadays, and it's like, well, that was always the point of the channel. It's just, you didn't realize it because I changed the name at the last second because I thought that name sucked. At that time, there was a ton of homebrews, a ton of new homebrews that were coming out. There was the Coleco Chameleon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that stuff. And it's funny because the first non-retro video I ever did on the channel was actually a PS4 video as well. And I remember that. But yeah, from the outset, the channel was supposed to be news sort of related. But obviously in the earlier days, I dabbled in a lot of different stuff. I had a series called Why I Love, and on the flip side, I had a series called Why I Hate. And Why I Hate was very heavily inspired by the Angry Video Game Nerd, who I think is the greatest. You know, he's the reason why gamers on YouTube exist. Like without him, there wouldn't be PewDiePie and all that sort of shit. Like he's the godfather. He's the OG of it. But yeah, you know, it was just sort of a manner of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I was just doing whatever without really having sort of like a purpose, I guess, or a goal.
Yeah. Didn't have a clear focus in the beginning, basically.
No, not at all. Because what ended up happening was the Coleco Chameleon ended up becoming, you know, this huge scam, and it's like,
oh yeah,
what the hell am I going to talk about now? I was planning on like covering that system and covering the games for the system and stuff, and then that quickly went away, and it was like, what now? So I just started doing whatever I wanted, I guess.
Actually, that Coleco Chameleon situation got me dabbled into like this long rabbit hole on YouTube. I was like, it was like video after video after video. By the end of it, I was like, wow, that is like the biggest.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And you know what? Come to think of it, it was actually before the Coleco Chameleon. It was when it was called the Retro VGS.
Oh,
now that I remember, that's when I started.
Right.
It was May. Or no, not May. March 2015 is when I started the channel.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't somebody get sent like a prototype shell of the console? I can't remember who that was.
There was a prototype shell the prototype shell was the Jaguar.
That's
shell.
right. Yeah.
They purchased the molds that were being used for dental stuff.
Such a funny
and then
story.
They had a chameleon. But when they revised it to the Coleco Chameleon, because they got the Coleco branding, they had a chameleon at one of the trade events. I don't recall which one it was, but it was essentially just a Super Nintendo inside of the system. Like it wasn't any proprietary stuff in it.
Right. Yeah, I remember just literally going down that rabbit hole for like a month, just watching videos on it.
It was a hell of a time, man.
So, at what point in time did you realize you wanted to do YouTube full time? And I remember the video where you told us about this, but I'd like to hear kind of more of a story background on that, how you decided.
Definitely.
I decided at Retro World Expo 2017, where I met Wood, that I did not want to be living where I was living at. I wanted to come back to the Northeast where I was born, and I still have a lot of family. And I was like, how can I make this work? And I was like, I'm going to put all my time and effort into YouTube. And what I did was I was working 40 hours a week. I would wake up at 7:45. I'd hop in the shower. I would go to my job. I would look at my phone during downtime at my job to sort of see if there was anything worth talking about. And then I would find something. I would drive home at 6. On the drive home, I would figure out, I'd pretty much script the video in my head. I'd get home. I'd make dinner, which consisted of a microwave meal because I don't cook. I would eat said food. I would film video. I would edit video. I would upload video. I would play games for like 30 minutes, and then I would go to sleep. And I did that for months and months, because I said, if I can make this work, I'm going to try it for 4 months. I'm going to try it for 4 or 5 months and just put everything I have into it. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, whatever. And it ended up working. So, once the money started being, good enough to where I was like, well, if I'm working 40 hours a week and I'm able to do this, what if I, put 100% of myself into it, maybe it could work. So what I did was I just saved all of my money, and I had a safety net to where basically, if YouTube just went up shit's creek, I would have essentially 8 months to a year worth of money to live off of. And that was if I had no income coming in whatsoever. I would be able to pay my rent, bills, and buy food, because that's all I really cared about. But yeah, so, and it ended up working. So
awesome.
It's good.
And that was right around 80,000 subscribers is when you had that because I remember you did a video right around that time kind of discussing that. I couldn't remember.
Because really, at the end of the day, subscribers are nice to have because it gives you a loyal fan base, but at the end of the day, views are what matter. You don't get paid on subs.
No.
You get paid on how many people watch your video. So people thought I was stupid for doing it at 80,000 subs, but I'm like, look at my view count versus channels, some channels that are twice the size of me, and they're not getting these sort of views. Like, who's the dummy here? Like,
if you can get even 20% of your subscriber base worth of views, you're doing pretty well, and your videos tend to perform much better than that.
I mean, really, the rule of thumb on YouTube is 10% is a healthy channel. You ask anyone who's like a well-versed person in YouTube, like if you got 100,000 subs and you're getting at least 10K views on each of your videos, you're doing good. Like that's a sign of a healthy channel.
And then you got some channels that just perform way above expectations. Like, for example, Gaming Historian, every time he puts out a video, it's like, and his subs don't even come close to the view counts he gets.
No, because he's able to cross sort of borders and stuff like that, though.
Like your channel does really well too. Like this video we got in the background here, 723,000 views versus your 286,000 subscribers.
That's what video is that?
15 must-own Nintendo Switch games.
That's okay. That's my best video. That's my best performing video. I don't have any videos that ever hit 1 million, but that's my best performing video. And that was just a video. Like, people think like I have some like grand scheme when I make a video. No, I literally just wake up and I'm like, what do I want to do today? What do I want to talk about today? And like, that's it. Like, I just roll with it.
I think Will's got the next question for you.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask like a sub question to the last one first. How long did it take for you to like breathe that sigh of relief after going full time, where you're like, oh, okay, this was not a terrible decision?
I am someone who has, ever since I was an adult, I have lived very cheap. So, I mean, really, once I went full time and I had enough money to last me 8 months to a year, it was like, it's not like I'm going to have $0 coming in every month. There will at least be some money. So I'm pretty sure I can make this work. I never breathe a sigh of relief, though, because, like even today, my view counts are great, but CPM is down right now, like half of what it normally is, because advertisers aren't advertising right now. So it's like, you're always kind of worried about it, but I save everything. Like I said, I used a $600 all-in-one desktop computer since 2015. It was painful for me to buy this new computer that will last me probably until I die, even though it's a really good computer. Like, I hate spending money. So, it's always, what it really boils down to is it's just, your living expenses. And as long as you can cover your living expenses and then have something to save for a rainy day, like, you're good. And I had just, like I said, I had just saved up a good amount of money to where I was like, I felt comfortable. And it was like, worst case, I could always, just find a job if I needed to.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. I didn't even realize you had that much plan behind it when you were doing it, but that makes way more sense than in my head. I was like, oh, your subscriber count's good enough and your views are good enough. Might as well try it. That was my thought process.
It was very meticulous, very meticulous.
And you moved at the same time, right? Right around that same time?
Yep. I wanted a fresh start. I moved to a town the place that I moved to, I never saw in person. I literally found it online. It was 500 miles away from where I lived, in a town in a state that I had never been to, and I was just like, yep, this is what we're doing. And I packed up my shit. My dad flew in, and because I didn't want to drive the truck up there, because I don't know. And so I had him drive the truck up there with me, and him and I unloaded it. And the first time I saw it was the same time I moved in.
And I remember you were really nervous about moving all your games and stuff, because the Saturn cases are a little fragile compared to
all the bookshelves broke.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, it sucked, but if that was the biggest casualty, it could have been worse.
Yeah, weren't they like warped from the drive because you kept most of the games on the shelves?
Yep. I had the great idea of saran wrapping them, and everything was going to be fine, and nothing was fine. And absolutely nothing was fine.
So one new full set of shelves later, everything was good. I guess the
funny
shelves
thing was, the place I moved to was so small that I couldn't even do it. I didn't even have a game room in that place. It was literally like a downstairs area that was the living room and like a small kitchen, and then you went up a spiral staircase and there was a bedroom and a bathroom, and that was all that I had, just because I wanted to be cheap, because like I didn't know if it was going to work out or not. So I just found a cheap but nice place, and I just made it work for me.
So you're in a different place now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought you had moved, but I wasn't sure. Was the second move a little easier than the first move?
Yeah, it was a lot easier. Just because like I wasn't as worried. But once again, I did not see this place. But I have family that lives close by, so they met with the realtor to look at it. Because I don't care. Like, you know, if I'm renting, it's like, who cares? Like, you know, what's the worst case scenario? It sucks and you're stuck there a year. Like, okay, you make it work. So
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, you got the next question.
All right. So next question. So you started off more as a retro gaming channel. At what point did you decide to do more of a daily news content?
when you know, my thing is like I still love retro stuff, but it's like I can't sit there and review Super Mario Brothers. Like I could, but what the hell am I going to add to the conversation? What am I gonna say that hasn't been said about Super Mario Brothers? It's like retro gaming content was one of the foundations I feel that YouTube was built on, with people like, you know, Angry Video Game Nerd and Irate Gamer and stuff like that, and it became very popular. And so, you know, I still love retro gaming content, but if I wanted to do daily content, I couldn't do daily retro gaming content. I don't think anyone can, because you have to go about it in a different way, because it's been done by so many other people and they probably have done it better than you have. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, you know, just, you know, and another thing is you got to go with what works at the end of the day. Like, you know, and, you know, more modern stuff seems to be working. I still do try to sprinkle in retro gaming stuff whenever, you know, like the Sega Genesis Mini was announced. Like Sega actually reached out to me and was like, hey, we want you to be one of the few people to reveal the games for the system. And I'm like, what, me? Are you sure? So like, you know, that's cool. You know, whenever there's like new retro hardware, I'm always one of the first people to cover it, because I like talking about stuff like that. But it's just like, as far as individual games and stuff is concerned, if I only, you know, did stuff like that, like I would make like one video a week, and it would just be like, I don't like that. I like to stay busy.
Yeah, because we're not going to get another trash pile of ET cartridges that we can report on every single day or something like that, where they
Right.
find
And
them
I
all
mean-
buried in the ground or something.
But if it were to happen, you know, I'm in a position now where I have like a little office type thing set up in my living room, to where I could just, you know, film about that and talk about that if I wanted to. So
I still remember the time you woke up at like 3 in the morning and recorded that PlayStation Classic video.
hell yeah, I remember that conversation.
Hell yeah.
I was talking to, I was in a group chat with Billy from the Game Chasers, 8-Bit Eric, and a couple other people. And I think Wood was in there too, actually. And it was like 3 in the morning, and that news had just dropped, and I was like, should I do it? And they're like, yeah. I was like, are you sure? And they're like, I mean, do you think it'll get views? I was like, I don't know. I think it would. And so I made that video. I didn't go to bed till like 7 in the morning, and then when I woke up, that video had just blown up. So I was like, huh, good decision. Thanks, guys.
I was like, man, that's some dedication. Hopping on at 3 a.m. to film a video like that.
I mean, I do shit like my sleep schedule is very weird. It's a lot better nowadays. But like sometimes I just won't be able to sleep, and I'll just make a video. Like, I can't remember. There was something Pokemon Sword and Shield related was the last thing I did it, because I remember texting my mom at like 7 in the morning, and I was like, you going to work? And she was like, yeah, why are you up? I was like, I haven't gone to bed yet. And she was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I couldn't sleep, so I made a video. It's almost done though.
I'll tell you what, making a video and you're really tired, the worst thing ever is when it's in the middle of rendering and you realize, oh no, I forgot something.
Yes.
Oh, that's
That's-
so bad.
Realize
See, now-
there's no audio.
Now
Yeah.
I got this new computer, and it literally, like, the last 2 videos I've done have been on this new computer, and it literally renders the video in 1 minute.
That's
So it's
awesome.
like, yeah, it's not that big of it. It's not that bad anymore. It's like, okay, I don't have to worry about it. That's it.
All right. The next question. What is your favorite content to make?
Everything. I really don't have favorite content. Some people think that I just, you know, I don't know where I was going with that answer. Sorry, I was up till like 4:30 last night playing Final Fantasy VII, because it's a great game, the remake of it. But yeah, like all of my content is my favorite sort of content. I love reviewing games. I love talking about retro stuff. I love doing news and stuff like that. As long as I'm making something, I feel productive. So I really don't have like a set favorite thing. which makes for a shitty answer, but I mean, it's true.
I still loved your was it 2K16 WWE 2K16 or 17 where the Switch just
2K18.
18. Man, Switch hasn't been out that long. And you had you had your buddy come on and film the beginning, and you were trying to build him in the WWE world. You're trying to make a realistic model of him.
That's actually going to play into question 7.
Okay. I won't dig too deep into that though. But that was YouTube gold, I must say. It was pretty awesome.
That was a fun video.
That was back when you still had your intro rolling on every video.
Oh yeah, I didn't get rid of that until last year.
I was gonna say it was kind of jarring when I didn't watch for like maybe a month or two, and then all of a sudden the intro was gone. I was like, whoa.
Well, I had plans for a new intro, and then I never followed through with it. Like I wanted to have like a little animated intro, and I was gonna hire someone to do it. But then, like, people just, I don't know. I guess it's a lot more work than I thought it would be. It was like 7 seconds is all I wanted, but it was essentially like a 7-second cartoon that I had like planned in my head. But it's something I might revisit still. But yeah.
I used to like the your intros that you had because the intro song you were using. I don't know if that was like a custom made song for your channel or if you got that from somewhere. That was pretty epic. I liked it. The kind of 8-bit sound, but kind of more modern sounding. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a buddy make that song for me.
Did I?
Right, next one.
Yeah, I was gonna say you answered the question, didn't you? We can move on. Go ahead, Will.
All right. So, have you ever felt burnt out?
Not really. Sometimes, like, I don't feel like making a video, and then I just won't do anything that day. Like, I'll take a day off because when you're making YouTube stuff, like, you don't have a set time frame unless you set it yourself. So, like, you could work for 20 days straight sometimes, but it's like it doesn't bother me because I enjoy making videos. I hate editing them, but I enjoy making them. I enjoy video games, so it never really half the time it doesn't even feel like work. But no, I mean, worst case, like I'll take a couple days off and maybe I'll start taking like actual vacations and stuff like that because I really don't like I'm just kind of a homebody nowadays. But no, I wouldn't say like really burnt out, like more so than like a normal job. Like you just want days off sometimes.
Is it hard to take a vacation when you're doing YouTube every day, basically?
No, not really. I mean, sometimes I'll plan. It depends on how long of a vacation it is. Like sometimes I'll plan out videos and have scheduled videos that'll go out while I'm out of town. But I really, like I said, I don't take vacations all that much. So it's not something that I've ever like come across really since I've been full time. I've been full time for 2 years, and I really haven't taken like a set vacation or anything like that more than 4 or 5 days.
Cool. Since you started your channel, do you think you do more gaming or less gaming?
More, but it's more streamlined because I'm always checking out new games. I'm always working on reviews. You don't really have as much casual gaming time as you do when you're not doing YouTube full time. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, if it wasn't for, that's today's video that you have up right now. Okay, so if it wasn't for Resident Evil 4 Remake being leaked and the WWE 2K21 potentially being canceled, today's video probably would have been Final Fantasy VII impressions, but I didn't really want to do that because I'm taking my time playing that game and really enjoying it. And so now I don't feel as pressured to make a video on it, so that's kind of become like my first leisure game in quite a while, because usually I'm playing stuff to review. So you play more, but you don't have as much casual gaming time.
Okay.
I have to say, most of my downtime since we've done YouTube has been, honestly, I check YouTube too much. I should probably be doing more gaming and enjoying my time than checking my YouTube channel for stats and stuff. That's definitely become a problem for me.
I mean, it's addictive.
It is.
Really.
It is.
What it boils down to.
All right, well, what do you got next?
All right, so next one. What's your favorite moment in your YouTube career?
I would say definitely realizing how small the YouTube circle is. Like you were saying with WWE 2K18, that whole thing with Stevie Richards, who was a pro wrestler that I watched in ECW, WCW, WWF, that literally stemmed from a Twitter conversation where he had shared one of my videos randomly and said that he was a fan of my stuff. And I was like, what? It's like, you watch me? Like, I watch you. Like, that's weird. And we ended up talking, and we ended up we actually did 2 videos together. That one, and then the Retromania wrestling reveal for the Nintendo Switch, which the company wanted me to announce it coming out to the Switch, and I had Stevie Richards is one of the roster members in it, so we linked up and did another video, kind of similar to the original video that we did, kind of playing tongue in cheek on it. And then like musicians too. Like in one of my videos, I was wearing a deathcore band that I like called Oceano. I was wearing one of their tank tops, and the next day I woke up and my Facebook was like flooded, and the lead singer of Oceano was like, wow, this YouTuber I watched was wearing one of our shirts. And I'm like, you watch me? Like, what the hell? And like, I've met like so many like bands that I've been like Oceano, the Acacia Strain. I met the lead singer of the Acacia Strain at Too Many Games, and now he's like a big fan of the channel. So I would say just meeting people from like the pro wrestling world, like Tatanka. You remember Tatanka from the WWF in the 1990s, the Native American wrestler? He follows me on Twitter, and I'm like, why do you follow me on Twitter? Like the blue meanie. And I'm like, this is weird, man. Like I'm not used to this. So definitely sort of the crossover that has happened because of the channel, and just getting to meet people that I watch and I enjoy watching that are fans of me.
I never realized, like you said, how small the YouTube circle is.
Yeah, it's really small.
It's as soon as like somebody notices you and they start talking to you, it's like, wow, it just kind of opens so many doors to talk to everybody else, and everybody's kind of friendly. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. What would you say was your least favorite moment in your YouTube career?
Well, when your channel becomes more popular, you got more people that scrutinize you, and like, there's people out there that can't stand me, and they make like all these negative videos about me, but I'm like, you've never reached out to me, you've never tried to talk to me, you don't know who I am. So, it's just weird to me, like why people obsess over what other people are doing, but it just comes with the territory, really.
Yeah, like obviously if a channel like ours can reach out and you're friendly with us, anybody could reach out and just be like, hey, just wanted to ask you about this, and you'd probably be more than willing to talk to them.
Yeah, like I'm not a sneaky person. I don't really have anything to hide, so I don't know why people try to make conspiracies about shit, but it is what it is.
He's hiding the rest of his hair in his hat.
Right.
Do you still have the ponytail going on? I know you had the long hair going on for a little while.
My head's shaved.
Oh, okay. I know you were doing that for quite a while, and people were like, where'd all the hair go?
Yeah, I had to cut that off. That was too much.
I do find that like kind of weird how people like follow your appearance just as much as they follow your content, it seems like. Because I've seen comments where like, well, why are you wearing this? Or what are you doing that? And I'm like,
yeah, like it's very strange to me. I'm like, clean? That's why I'm wearing it? Is that okay? I didn't realize I need to...
I gave the sniff test.
It's weird, man. It's weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I find anytime somebody like your content is about gaming, it's like, why are you commenting on the guy's appearance? Like, unless he's like completely, just haphazard, looks like he rolled out of
on
bed.
my face or something.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay.
All right, well, you got the next question.
Yeah. So, what are your favorite gaming YouTube channels?
Stuff that's not like me. Stuff like Angry Video Game Nerd. I still think he's the best channel. And my friends, but like I said, I don't really watch a bunch of gaming stuff anymore, just because it's kind of what I do. So I watch like random stuff and go down like conspiracy theory rabbit holes and stuff like that.
I got a great channel to plug to you if you wouldn't mind checking it out sometime. We got a buddy that covered a really strange story a while back that you might find interesting. He actually did like this weird 4chan thing where they helped call in an airstrike on something. It's like he delved into this insane detail, and like he does all these kinds of videos. He did one on televangelists the other day. You might find that interesting too.
Holy Ghost fire.
What's
But definitely
his
go.
name? Tell Me More.
Yeah, it's called Tell Me More. I'll send you a link on Twitter, but you should definitely check him out.
Cool.
He's pretty cool if you're into that kind of content.
And he'll soon be doing a video on spider sex.
Oh,
yeah,
damn!
maybe.
I ruined the next question by talking about the conspiracy theory.
That's okay. That's okay. You didn't give us any channel names. You just said what subject it was.
Mhm.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't think there is necessarily. It's more, I'm more attracted to the subject. Like, I don't binge watch certain channels and stuff like that, just because I don't know. I really don't watch all that much YouTube, which is kind of weird. But I really just watch The Simpsons.
They
Like, legit,
predicted a lot of
That's
stuff.
fair.
like I seriously just watch old episodes of The Simpsons over and over again when I'm not working on videos or wrestling. Like, those are the two things I like.
Okay, then what's your favorite wrestling game of all time?
WCW NWO Revenge on the N64.
Yes, that was the last one I played, actually.
Close
was-
second is No Mercy, but Revenge, I give the roster to Revenge because I like that roster better.
That was such a good game. I remember playing that for hours and hours and hours as a kid. We just
Oh,
plug
yeah.
in 4 N64 controllers, boom, we were playing.
It was so good. I still play it.
That's like my favorite Tony Hawk is also on the N64.
Really?
Yeah, I liked Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Okay. Well, yeah, I liked it too, but I liked it on the PS2 because the PS1 because of the CD soundtrack. You didn't have to clip songs.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I didn't think about that because like Goldfinger, like their song was was a little shorter than what it should have been.
Yeah, all the music was like that on the N64 Tony Hawks. Cartridge limitations,
What a smart idea, Nintendo.
right?
All right. Well, since you answered kind of the non-gaming YouTube channels, why don't you jump into that last question, Will?
All right. So, what advice would you give a small YouTuber just starting out?
Have fun. Don't do it for money. Don't do it for fame. Have fun. If it becomes a business, if you start to see growth and you start to see money coming in, approach it as a business. If that doesn't come, don't be upset by it because I am obviously not the standard. I'm an average person who hates editing, who just happened to get lucky and was able to do this full time. Like, I understand that there are thousands of people that probably deserve to be in my position, but for whatever reason, they didn't catch the same break as I did. So, do it for fun and, have fun with it. Make whatever you want. Don't listen to people who try to, knock you down or something, because if there's people trying to knock you down, you're obviously doing something right because they're talking about you. But yeah, just do it for fun. Like, and if it becomes profitable and it becomes something that you can move more towards a business side of things, then, approach it at that, but don't expect that to happen because it doesn't happen for a lot of people.
I can tell you that from my various multiple channels I've started in the past, I never did it for money. I always did it for fun, and I've never been disappointed because if you're like you said, if you're doing it for fun, you'll never be disappointed.
Exactly.
And I will say this, it's not just luck for you though, because like you said with Wood, just because you cover a subject that's interesting doesn't mean people will watch your video. So it's got something to do with you. And there's obviously something positive about the way you produce your content and the charisma you have doing it that attracts people to your channel, which is why I watched your content. I can't tell you what the it factor is, but you have to have the it factor to get where you're at.
I think I'm just a good talker. I can talk to a rock or a group of people and have like the same conversation.
He's
so
like,
it's like I know people that sit there and script everything when they make a video. Occasionally I'll script a review just because I might not want to miss out on something, but 9 times out of 10 the most I have are just a few notes and just like a little basic outline, and then I just talk, and if it works, it works. If I hate the video, I just won't do the video.
do you guys prep for the Spawncast at all then?
No.
That's
just
doesn't seem
that's
scripted.
all off the cuff. No, that's all off the cuff. He used to give us topics and then he just stopped because we would just end up talking about whatever we wanted to talk about anyways.
I can't imagine the personalities in that podcast would have interesting topics not on Spawn's list. I can't imagine that. That doesn't seem possible.
It's a very eclectic mix of people.
Oh man,
And very, very unique.
if I remember correctly, you were on what, episode 8 was your first one with him?
I don't even remember. It's been a long time.
He's been doing that for far longer than I realized.
He is a very smart individual as well. He created a formula and created, I mean, because his Newswave videos, he could literally talk about paint drying, but those are going to get views because people are tuning in every morning at 8 a.m. for that. I don't have that sort of discipline. That's not how I like to live on the edge of my seat and just, if I get a wild hair up my ass, I'm going to make a video on that subject that I want to talk about.
I haven't heard that in so long.
But like, he is definitely very dedicated and disciplined and structured, whereas I'm the complete opposite. But it works for him, obviously. So,
For anybody listening, all of these videos come out at 7 a.m. every day of the week, Eastern Standard Time. That's how it runs. That's our schedule.
There you go. It's good to be disciplined. I can't do it.
But occasionally we put out a random video that you won't see coming.
Yes,
like we did a did I send you the Halo Switch reveal we did?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, did you end up watching that then?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think?
It was good.
You don't want to ask that while we're live, man.
I can cut this out. If he says it's bad, I just cut it out. It's all good. No, I'm just kidding.
It don't hurt your feelings.
I did get somebody asking, like, you sure Reggie's okay being in that video? And I was like, no, I didn't ask him. Anyways, did you have any more questions for him, Will?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, if that's the case, thank you for agreeing to the interview segment.
Yes, thank you so much.
It was
no problem.
definitely fun doing this segment. And you'll see more of RGT85 on Thursday and Friday. And if you missed Monday and Tuesday, go check those out, too. He's here all week. Because Will forced him.
Yes, I am.
No, I'm just kidding. As always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm RGT.
And we will see you
On next CHRILLCAST.